Happy Brawl of the Wild Part 2 Eve, or Brawl for It All Eve. Wanted to pop in, do a quick YouTube live update, kind of give you an update of what we're expecting for this weekend, but also take a little bit of a look back briefly at some of the impacts that we've seen from the storms the last couple of days, the power outages, some of those travel impacts that we could see tonight and into tomorrow morning. Again, especially for folks that are traveling out to Bozeman for the game tomorrow between Montana and Montana State. But also, again, look ahead to the weekend, into more of the holiday week, into Christmas, as we look ahead at the potential of some more active weather. So if you can give me about 30 seconds to a minute, I'll get everything working here behind the scenes, show you what radar looks like over the last, say, 3 to 4 hours, and we will get started with this update here in full in just a few minutes. There we go. All right, I know we're starting to get a few more people in, so getting the last little things done here. I think we are in good shape overall. So I say with that, let's get started with this update. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I'll try to make this relatively brief this evening. We'll just go through this pretty quick, but a fair amount to talk about. So if you have any questions or comments, certainly feel free to ask those in the chat section, and then we'll go from there. So thanks all for tuning in, and let's get started. Initially, or at least what I'm going to start off with, are the continuing power outages that we have. A lot of these are still set from the storm system as we saw it Wednesday. That big windstorm that brought the strong winds to the area, 60 to 90 miles per hour. We saw lots of trees go down. We saw power lines go down, trees blocking roads. It was a big mess out there. Well, after our max of around 60 to 70,000 customers without power across the state, we've now gotten that number down to less than 10,000. About 9,644 customers are without power still at this time. The greatest counties, or at least the greatest impacted counties at this time, are still Lincoln County at just over 33 or just under 3,400 customers without power right now. Flathead County at around 2,580. Missoula County just under 1,500. Sanders County, where we've seen some big improvements there, as well as into Mineral County. 641 customers in Sanders County, 520 in Lake County, 340 in Mineral County, and 254 down in Ravalli County. And I know I don't have Gallatin County on there, but I'll give you an update. There's about 217, so they're just off the list here. But Gallatin County is down to 217 customers without power at this time. But crews are still continuing to make good progress on those power outages. We've seen some big improvements in specifically looking towards Flathead County today. Again, there's still over 2,500 that are without power, but at one point we were at 16, 18,000 customers without power. And then also into, let me get Mineral County up here. Earlier in yesterday, I guess I should specify, we had about 80% of the county that was out yesterday morning. We're now down to less than 7% of the county that's out. So some big improvements there and some good news there. And conditions in general are going to continue to improve over the next couple of days. So looking at those current conditions across the region, we're seeing those into the 20s and 30s for most locations. Kalispell 30, Missoula 31, Dillon at 26. We're 16 in Butte. We've got some cold air filtering in behind the cold front that came through this morning. So temperatures are going to continue to fall. We're looking at teens and 20s overnight tonight. And as I show the satellite loop, you can kind of see this front taking shape. You see the river of moisture moving across the area, but sagging south. Right on the back side of that, roughly in that line right there, was our cold front as it was pushing through the region. Now, for the most part, clearing western Montana, but not after another round of strong winds earlier on today. Rain, snow, a little bit of a mix of everything. And one other note that I want to bring up as I pull the radar back up, I'm just going to take one look at the MDT 511 map. I know earlier in the evening, both Homestake and Bozeman passes were requiring chains for towing units. Right now, it does look like only Bozeman Pass continues to have that restriction, which makes sense. They were the last ones to really see the heaviest of the snow start to clear out. So still looking at issues there specifically for towing units where they got the chains required over Bozeman Pass, but even still looking at some snow-covered slick conditions around the Butte area on I-90 and I-15 all the way up to Boulder and down in the direction of Dillon, not quite that far south, and then Highway 1 from Georgetown Lake over to Anaconda. We're looking at very similar types of conditions. And then the whole of Big Hole Valley, and then up towards Lost Trail Pass, Chief Joseph Pass on Montana Highway 43, and then US 93. We're looking at packed snow in those areas, so some slick conditions will continue. And then also from areas along Clark Canyon Reservoir down through Lima and Monida Pass, we're looking at icy patches on that stretch of road as well. But also, as we go throughout the night tonight, with the wet roads, even if we didn't see necessarily a lot of snow like northwest, west central Montana today as compared to southwest Montana, any of that moisture that's been melting away, that could refreeze with how quickly those temperatures are falling tonight. So again, teens and 20s, don't be surprised to run into, to see some icy patches, a little bit of black ice for tomorrow morning. And again, that's a good reminder for anybody who is traveling to Bozeman for that game. Just be prepared for some slick spots, especially over those passes where we could see some issues. But again, look out Lolo Lost Trail, at least from this past storm system, had the heaviest hits of snowfall, followed up by Marias and Bozeman passes. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to spin this back around and stop radar just to kind of show you what's happening. Not seeing a whole lot down here in southwest Montana. Spotty showers will be continuing, but diminishing in coverage over the next couple of hours. And we're starting to see a bit of new development up into northwest and west central Montana, but you notice most of this is staying in the higher elevations along the state line and along the divide, though some of these are starting to work their way down into the Highway 200 and Highway 2 corridors. Trout Creek, Noxon, Thompson Falls, Heron, a little bit of snow shower activity. Probably not likely going to see too much in the way of impact, but it will be there. And then also, some of this may try and work over towards, say, Happy's Inn, Marion, even as far east as Kyle. But then we'll have to see what happens over here towards Kalispell, into the Flathead Valley and Flathead Lake. I think we're going to still see at least the chance for some scattered showers as we head into tomorrow, but the greatest impacts are going to stay over our mountain passes. So let's go into Future Tracker, and I'll kind of play this out. It's done a good job picking up on the decreasing showers here south of Interstate 90, really from Bozeman back down towards West Yellowstone. But also, again, the areas along the divide and along the state line, and watch how this continues to progress throughout the night. Bozeman, Dillon, Ennis, West Yellowstone. We're looking quiet. We're looking clear later on tonight. But those showers do increase back into northwest and west central Montana even further than what we're already seeing. So some spotty snow bands all throughout the night will be possible, though I think the greatest coverage will stay in our higher elevations. We could continue to see some accumulating snowfall up towards Lookout, Lolo, maybe even Lost Trail passes as well as Marias, and that'll be our focus for tonight. Tomorrow morning, another push of moisture and staying pretty much in those same consistent areas. We may see a little better chance of this getting down into the Flathead Valley as we get into the afternoon hours. A bit more moisture comes in and we don't fight with as much in the way of downslope flow. But in general, outside of those showers, high pressure is going to be in control, especially in southwest Montana. We're looking at quieter conditions. Across the region, and the winds should be a fair bit less than what we've seen over the last few days, where those have been anywhere from 30 to 60 on average from today, 60 to 90 on average with those gusts on Wednesday. We're going to be more in that 10 to maybe 20 to 25 mile per hour range as we head into tomorrow. So additional snowfall that we could see, I'm just going to go through Sunday morning because we are going to see another system Sunday night into Monday. Looking at probably about 1 to 5 inches for our passes along the state line. Maybe about 4 to 8 inches over Marias Pass. That's enough to create some slick conditions that could cause some minor travel impacts here and there, but nothing overly, massively heavy when it comes to some of that heavy snowfall that we could be seeing. So if you are traveling over the passes this weekend, or, again, for the game over in Bozeman, or if you're just traveling in general for the holidays getting into next week, Over the passes are going to be our biggest concern. Just be prepared for some slick spots here and there, some occasional winter driving conditions, and especially into northwest and west central Montana. But overall, nothing necessarily to write home about being a big storm system by any means. But still enough, just takes a little bit of ice, a little bit of slush to create some havoc. So make sure to take it slow, give yourself a little bit of extra time, and drive to the conditions that are present. That is for sure. So looking at that weekend forecast specifically, again, high pressure is building. We're going to see those snow showers west of the divide with clearing skies down into southwest Montana. Temperatures, for the most part, we're going to be just a little bit above average for this time of the year. We're looking at mid-30s for tomorrow afternoon, Missoula-Kalispell, Bozeman, right at the 30-degree mark. In Butte, temperatures likely warm up in the mining city and in Bozeman as we get into Sunday. A little bit of warm air starts to move in with our next storm system that arrives later into the afternoon of Sunday. Temperatures staying pretty consistent for Missoula and Kalispell there, 34 and 36. But even these temperatures, again, about 5 to nearly 15 degrees above average for what we would be normally this time of the year. And these type of temperatures likely will be continuing all the way through the at least middle parts of next week into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Now, the big reason why I wanted to do this YouTube Live was just to give everybody a heads up of what that forecast would be for the Brawl of the Wild Part 2. Brawl for it all, that FCS semifinal matchup. It's the thing that's either bringing all of Montana together, but it's a bit of a state divided. So it's going to be a really good game, fortunately. As you may have seen there on the forecast, really no issues from the weather. It's going to be a touch breezy. We could see gusts maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour down in Bozeman at Bobcat Stadium. But for the most part, I don't know if you could ask for much better weather for a football game on December 20th in Bozeman, Montana. So we're going to be looking at those temperatures, low to mid-30s for the game. We're looking at a high temperature in Bozeman of 35 degrees. Once we get beyond sunset, which is right around 4:45, temperatures will be cooling off very quickly, likely into the upper 20s, and really tanking from there. We're going to see those temperatures continuing to fall down into the teens as we get into tomorrow night. But again, good news for folks that are heading to the game. Just make sure to bundle up, but should be a great game. The biggest issue will actually come to traveling, especially if you're going, say, Interstate 90 from Livingston back over to Bozeman. Could be some slick spots there, or Interstate 90 going from, coming from Missoula and going over Homestake past Cardwell Hill. A few slick spots there, but overall, I think most of the moisture should be tapering off other than a few showers here and there. And now if you're traveling from even further away, say places like Coeur d'Alene or Sandpoint, Idaho, that's where we could be dealing with a few more issues when it comes to pass travel coming up over Lookout Pass. So, like I said, that's our biggest issue as we head into tomorrow. But as always, I always remind people, if you have any photos or videos, certainly share those with us at nbcmontana.com/chime-in. Game day photos are just as exciting and as appreciated. So any of your game day festivities, things like that, if you're in Bozeman for that, certainly feel free to share those with us as well. Now, continuing on briefly, temperatures, like I said, we're talking 5 to 10, maybe even 15 degrees above average. And this is looking into Christmas Eve, 43 degrees in Missoula at 14 degrees above average. And really, that's going to be the case for most of the region. We're talking upper 30s to upper 40s on those high temperatures. We could be talking about a mix of rain and snow, as we aren't going to completely get rid of our moisture chances. Now, they are going to be much lower in southwest Montana for Saturday and the first part of Sunday. This is primarily for northwest and west central Montana. But by the time we go from Sunday night into Monday, this is our next storm system, and then another one moves in late Tuesday into Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll show you kind of how this plays out on our regional travel tracker. And this will be important for folks that are traveling this weekend as well. Looking into Saturday, if you're heading back over further into parts of Washington and Oregon, be prepared for that next wave of moisture to move in. Could be talking about heavy snow up into the Cascades and some heavy rain down on the I-5 corridor Saturday night and Saturday into Sunday. This is another atmospheric river, and this is really just been the consistent trend that we've been in. So Sunday, while most of our region is quiet during the morning hours, you're still seeing this big push of moisture. But you see what's coming in from the south. Here comes another wave of moisture, and this is going to be our Sunday night into Monday storm system. This is looking around, say, 7 to 8 o'clock Sunday evening, this continues to build, and by Monday morning, really the entirety of western Montana is dealing with more rain, more snow, some of which in our mountains does look like it could be heavy once again. So it wouldn't surprise me we're talking another round of travel impacts as we head into a Monday morning, and maybe even longer than that into Monday afternoon, though things do start to quiet down based on this most recent model run for Monday afternoon. But again, more travel issues if you're heading back off towards the I-5 corridor, Seattle down through Portland, Eugene. We're talking more heavy rain, more heavy snow up in the mountains. They're just going to get hit again and again. And then we go into Tuesday, some scattered showers are going to continue. We'll see another little push of moisture lifting north, rain in our valleys, maybe a wintry mix in our valleys with snow up in the mountains. And then Wednesday, getting into Christmas Eve. Right now, there's kind of a weird split with the moisture. We're seeing one batch going to northwest Montana, a second batch that stays down here in southwest Montana, where west central and north central portions of the state essentially get missed from this. We'll have to see how future model runs treat that next system into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But in general, just be prepared for more active weather. This is looking for Christmas Day itself. So right at the moment, looking at this, probably looking at least the chance for some snowflakes as we head into Christmas Day morning. And if we do see that, that would technically give us a white Christmas. But I will point this out, just with how as warm as it's going to be, if we don't see snow falling that day, there are some places here in western Montana that may not actually see a white Christmas. I'm not going to guarantee that right now, but it is looking more and more likely with those temperatures again in the 40s as we get into the afternoons, and that's going to be the case all through next week. And places like Missoula, there's no snow on the ground. So if we don't have that 1 inch of snow on the ground to qualify for a white Christmas, or we don't have it falling from the sky on Christmas Day, then we might not have it. But hopefully I'm completely wrong on that, and we can get at least a little bit of snow in here for all of western Montana to be able to have that white Christmas. But that's just something we're going to have to watch out for, and I'll certainly keep you advised as to what we can expect from that. But that's pretty much everything that I had for this evening. Like I said, big thing I wanted to jump in was really just focusing on for the Brawl of the Wild Part 2 for tomorrow, but kind of just recapping what we've seen the last few days, those power outages. Again, that's been a big story, and it's continuing to be a big story. I'll be perfectly honest, I think these last two storms that we've had between the flooding up in Lincoln and Sanders counties and then the widespread wind damage and power outages we've seen, these have probably been two of the biggest weather events we've seen so far this year, and probably will see for 2025. So it's going to be nice to get maybe a little bit of a break from this significantly active weather. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that. But like I said, at least some moderately impactful weather is still going to be sticking around. So we'll stay tuned to that. I did see a couple of comments pop up, so I just want to check those really quick over here. Have fun in nature. Hello, all. Nice to see local weather on YouTube. We're going to try and do these a little bit more. I usually will try and pop on twice to 3 times a week, just depending on how the weather behaves. This week I've actually been on. I think I've done one every day except for maybe yesterday, but we've needed it just with how busy things have been. And then let me see the other one. Clarice Michelle Huberera. Great coverage and reporting with good safety reminders. Weather people are the best to keep us posted. Thank you, and safe travels. Hey, I appreciate the kind words, and I agree with that. Safe travels to everyone as we go throughout the next couple of days. Again, a very busy weekend for travel, be it for the holidays, be it for the Brawl of the Wild. So again, there's still going to be some slick spots out there, and certainly take it slow. And as Clarice said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. I hope you all have a safe weekend, a fun weekend. And then Harmony Ben Homestead, again, my pleasure. This is what I love to do, and I love getting to get to talk with you all a little bit in this sense, and get to share the information that is pretty important. Again, all year round, but also especially as we get into the core of the holiday season. So again, thank you all for tuning in this evening. I hope you have a great one, great night, great weekend, and I will see you all on the next one. But of course, tune into our live broadcast coming up here in just about 20 minutes with the latest news and weather updates. And then, of course, tune into our weekend cruise coverage, especially as we get those final reactions for the Brawl of the Wild for tomorrow evening as we get to the, I believe it's a 9 o'clock show tomorrow. I could be wrong on that, but for our late show tomorrow night. So I think I've rambled on enough, but with that, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs. Ooh, actually, I just realized, tune in tomorrow night. I have a special story coming up. It's a bit of a preview into Christmas. I completely forgot about this. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. I've been working on a little bit of the history of how the NORAD Santa Tracker program got its start, and that will be airing for tomorrow. So that'll be a cool one to watch. A little bit of a personal plug, but that was a fun story to work on, and I hope you all enjoy getting to learn a little bit more about that program that has really become a tradition across the globe for the last 70 years. It's been going on for 70 years as of this year, and the people the people at NORAD who really keep that going are amazing, and they'll let you, they tell us a pretty good bit of information about how they keep track of good old St. Nick as he makes his flight around the world on Christmas Eve. So with that, I'll officially wrap it up. Have a great night, everyone, and a great weekend. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs.